So I want to talk to you guys about buyer agency agreements and why we at Downs Group require them for our buyers. So basically when buyers call us, we have a question for them. They're either working with an agent or they're not working with an agent. The first thing we do ask, are you working with an agent or do you have an agency agreement signed with an agent? The reason why we ask that question is because simply we just don't want to waste our time, right? If you're working with an agent, that's fine. We will part ways, right? If you're not working with an agent, we have you sign what's called a buyer agency agreement. The first thing when people hear that is, what is that? What does that mean? Like, do I have to pay commissions or whatever? So we explain to you in simple terms. If we're gonna spend our time, effort, energy, and resources to help you find a property, we just ask for a commitment from you as the buyer to exclusively work with us. Doesn't require you to pay any commissions, any additional fees. It doesn't require anything else of you except a commitment. So our buyer agency agreement is 3 to 6 months, and that depends on the status of your search, right? So if you're relocating from Houston, for example, and you're not gonna be here for 9 months, we'll typically start your search process 6 months out, right? So we will have you sign a buyer agency agreement for 6 months. We'll put you on a drip where you receive auto-populated MLS listings. Also, if you were gonna be flying into town, we set you up on open houses so that you can go visit those. But if you're local and you're ready to buy in the next 30 days, it's typically a 3-month agreement. So with that 3-month agreement, it's just a commitment that we're gonna work together to find your property. If you walk into an open house, you are to mention that you are working with Downs Group. Most hosting agents at open houses are gonna say, are you represented by an agent? And you should write yes. You should not write your name, phone number, and email. You should write our name, phone number, and email, or our team's name. That way we can protect you. What a lot of buyers don't know is when you walk into an open house and that hosting agent is there and you say you don't have a buyer agent, you're not working with an agent, right? That agent on duty becomes your agent if you sign in with your information and say you have no broker, okay? So if that buyer, that agent that's hosting the open house walks you around the house, talks to you about that property, they become your agent by default or legally what's called procuring calls. That means they were the ones who showed you the property. That's a technical term a lot of people never heard of, but that agent becomes your agent if you want to make an offer on that house, right? Now, what if that agent is new? What if they never closed on the loan before? What if they've never been through the process of helping any buyer get to the closing table? Most agents, if they're with the right brokerage and they have the right training, can do that. But what if they are with the agent that doesn't provide all that training? Now you're working with an agent and you're spending maybe $500,000 or more on a property, and they don't have the skill set to get you to the closing table. So it's super important to work with a reputable team, an experienced team. And with Downs Group, what we do is require the agency agreement to protect you and protect our team. The other thing about our buyer agency agreement, we have what I call an easy out clause. I don't know about you guys, but I don't want to work with anyone that I don't want to work with, or if I'm uncomfortable, or it gets combative, right? So at any point during the time that after you sign your buyer agency agreement with our team, you feel like we're not giving you the best service, just send me an email. Hey, Russ, I don't think you're sending me the right properties. I don't feel comfortable anymore through this process. I don't want to work with anyone that doesn't want to work with me, and vice versa, right? So I would simply say, listen, don't worry about it. The agreement is voided, and we can move on from there. The only way we still get compensated is on the properties that we have already shown you. And if you decide to put an offer. If you decide to put an offer on a property that we showed you, then we will still be compensated. So in my experience, it's super important for you as a buyer to hire an agent to represent you. The seller signs a contract with the listing agent to represent them on the sale of their home. As a buyer, you should sign an agreement, which to me, the buyer agency agreement is kind of like a listing agreement. You should sign an agreement with the buyer's agent to represent you. If you call a listing agent, asking the listing agent, hey, listen, what does the seller want for the property? It's listed at $700, but what do you think the seller's gonna take? The listing agent has a fiduciary duty to represent the seller to get them the highest and best price and terms. So by you as a buyer, without representation, asking the listing agent that, because I know if you ask Erin, she's gonna tell you list price or higher. in best terms. So you want to have someone that's got your best interest at hand. And by signing a buyer agency agreement, you will be protected and you have someone actually negotiating against the seller's agent to get you the best price. Thanks for watching. If you found this information helpful, definitely subscribe to our channel. Follow us on Instagram. We have so much more information we want to share with you guys. Thank you so much.